Are you looking for a school that makes your dreams come true? Then look no further than Tamayus International Schools. Tamayus Junior School in Uganda and Tamayus International Academy in Rwanda. Tamayus International Academy is a day and boarding school located in Musanze and offering a Cambridge International program. Surrounded by a cool, beautiful environment, founded on Islamic values, though it warmly welcomes all religions across the globe. Tamayus International Academy aims at producing practically skilled learners with academic knowledge, morally understanding, and socially skilled who are ready to compete internationally. Join us today at Tamayus International Academy.
We make your child's dream a reality.
إن الحمد لله الذي أرسل رسوله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله وكفى بالله شهيدا ولو كره الكافرون. أوصي نفسي وإياكم بتقوى الله تبارك وتعالى وراكبوه مراقبة من يعلم أنه يسمع ويرى. أو ما سمعتم قوله تعالى لما قال بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. صلوا عليك يا علم الهدى. أوصي نفسي وإياكم باتباع المصطفى صلى الله عليه وسلم واتق الله حيثما كنت وأتبع السيئة الحسنة تموها. يا رسول الله نشهد أنك بلغت رسالة ربك وعديت الأمانة وكشفت الغمة ومحوت الظلمة. سئل النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم من الذي أدبك يا رسول الله فأحسن تعذيبك؟ فماذا أجاب المصطفى؟ قال أدبني ربي فأحسن تعذيبي. وقد قال تعالى في محكم تنزيله وما أرسلناك إلا رحمة للعالمين. يا رسول الله نشهد أنك بلغت الرسالة ربك. قال تعالى في محكم تنزيله بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم من المؤمنين رجال صدقوا ما عاهدوا الله عليه فمنهم من قضى نحبه ومنهم من ينتظر وما بدلوا تبديلا. وبعد. Praise be to Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. We are grateful to Allah who Tabarak wa Ta'ala, who has enabled us to live in the winding up times of this very year. Today is 29th, the last month of the year 1445. And we strongly believe and we strongly ascertain that whenever time passes and moves by, it is an indication of us getting closer to our times. It is an indication of us winding up our affairs fi dunya. This is the last Jummah, this is the last khutbah this year. When you look at the Hijri calendar, it spells out a lot for us as Muslims, because like we constantly say, that the vision of a Muslim is broad and expansive. It is not limited. It is not superficial and shallow. I implore my soul and yours that as time passes by, continue fearing Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala. As time passes by, inna zamana wa ma abqa lana ajabun. It is the end of the year and there are key questions for us to ascertain, especially in the contributions, in the capacity we have built onto ourselves before we go into other things, before we look at society and so on and so forth, ourselves as we wind up the year. What are your values? What are your achievements? Nevertheless, what is the bigger and broader plan for you come next year? I implore my soul and yours to fear Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala, because it's a command from Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala. But it is a command, even when scrutinized or not. وَمَنْ يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا. Whosoever obeys that command of taqwa, Allah is going to create a way out for them. وَمَنْ يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مِنْ أَمْرِهِ يُسْرًا. It is a command that whosoever fears Allah tabarak wa ta'ala, يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مِنْ أَمْرِهِ يُسْرًا. There is ultimate ease that will come to their affairs. ذَلِكَ أَمْرُ اللَّهِ. And that is the decision and the wish of Allah tabarak wa ta'ala. Peace and blessings be upon the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the best of Allah's creations, the best gift we have ever got as humanity, because وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. He is a source of mercy to human beings. It is the best that we have ever got. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, وَمَا أَتَاكُمُ الرَّسُولُ فَخُذُوهُ, that there is sure commandment from Allah that whatever the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam came with, فَخُذُوهُ, you don't need to edit, you don't need to introspect, you don't need to give another better version. There is nothing better than that. وَمَنْ أَصْدَقْ مِنَ اللَّهِ حَدِيثًا. Who can be more truthful than Allah tabarak wa ta'ala? Brothers and sisters in Islam, we are asking a key question tonight as we wind up the year. Al-amalu lid-din mas'uliyatu liman. The issue of contributing to our religion is incumbent upon us as we assess ourselves in the year 1445. What is your contribution to Islam? What is the plan next year? It begins on a personal note and it ends up with a communal responsibility as Muslims. The people that came before us, Allah gave them an outstanding accolade. The Sahaba ridwanullahi alayhim, and he said that radiyallahu anhum wa radu an. Allah has surely was contented with whatever they did. Wa radu an. The reverse is true. They were also pleased with the sure reward of Jannah. Min al-mu'minina rijalun. Amongst the believers existed people who were exceptional. Allah at the end of that verse says that فَمِنْهُمْ مَنْ قَضَى نَحْبَهُ وَمِنْهُمْ مَنْ يَنْتَظِرُ. They are believers who finally made it. They died. وَمِنْهُمْ مَنْ يَنْتَظِرُ. The door is still open. They are those ones who are still living. وَمَا بَدَّلُوا تَبْدِيلًا. A case in point, one poet said that inni uhibbu Aba Hafsin wa shi'atihi. He was looking at the contribution of Muslims in each and every year. He looked at the key example of the four guided caliphs, which is our source of reminder tonight, inshallah. Their contributions. What is my contribution to Islam? What is your contribution to Islam? Has your presence in Islam added to chaos and fitna? Are you a fuel of fitna? Has your presence in Islam as a Muslim contributed more to chaos in society, or has it given solutions? He said that inni uhibbu Aba Hafsin wa shi'atihi kama uhibbu Atiqan sahib al-ghari wa laqad raditu Aliyan qudwatan wa ma raditu biqatli shaykhi fi dari. Kullu sahabati sadati wa mu'taqadi. He was talking about Omar, he was talking about Abu Bakr, he was talking about Usman and Ali. He said that inni uhibbu Aba Hafsin wa shi'atihi. I have profound love for Omar and the Khattab progeny. Kama uhibbu Atiqan sahib al-ghari. Just like I hold in great merit Abu Bakr, the dweller of the cave. إذ هما في الغار إذ يقول لصاحبه لا تحزن إن الله معنا ولقد رضيت عليا قدوة. I certainly identify with the contribution of Ali to Islam. وما رضيت بقتل شيخ في الدار. I have never gained relief. I have never been contented. There was no justice in the brutal murder of Uthman. Kullu sahabati sadati wa mu'taqadi. In essence, every sahaba is like a shining and a guiding star. My contribution to Islam, your contribution to Islam. In your family, you are an icon. They look at you as a person who has laid ground and foundation for the education of the family members. You have aptly supported your village. You have aptly contributed to your faculty as a good lecturer. You have imparted the right knowledge. You have done well in your company. As a student, you have contributed to your hall. What is your contribution to Islam? What is your contribution to Islam in Uganda and the world at large? To begin with, Abu Bakr Siddiq radiyallahu anhu, who was the first caliph. Who was the first caliph? And these are people who laid the foundation stone for people to track through the steps of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. One of the key things, Aisha radiyallahu anha, who was a daughter to Abu Bakr Siddiq radiyallahu anhu, she said that ma nazala bi abi, whatever befell my father Abu Bakr after the death of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in essence the leadership of the ummah, at a time when we were tried, at a time when the fitna was at the peak, people trying to select leaders differently. Ma nazala bil jibali rasiyati la hadaha. If it had befallen the mountains, they would definitely crumble into pieces. Abu Bakr Siddiq radiyallahu anhu, one outstanding quality in his life, and these are reasons as to why sometimes we need to pass on these names to our children, even when they seem to be common. In this day and age, you ask someone, which name can I give to my son? And then you tell them Abu Bakr, they will say that is a common name. Give me another special name. Give me a name that begins with X. I want to name that. Give me a name that has a Q and a U in it and somewhere an M. Abu Bakr Siddiq radiyallahu anhu, Allah makes special mention about him. إِذْ هُمَا فِي الْغَارِ إِذْ يَقُولُ لِصَاحِبِهِ لَا تَحْزَنْ إِنَّ اللَّهَ مَعَنَا. It was at the time when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam required more support in the line of da'wah. How have you supported da'wah? And Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala recognizes him in a special way. La tahzan inna Allah ma'ana. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told him, it's a hard time, but definitely Allah is with us. There were two. Abu Bakr Siddiq radiyallahu anhu, at the time of the death of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he came and he looked at the might of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he said that tibta hayyan wa mayyita. You are appealingly looking fine in your times of death, but the same applies when you were still alive. One person said that mauti taqiyin, the death of a person who is pious, has a positive contribution to the ummah. He said that قَدْ مَاتَ قَوْمٌ وَهُمْ فِي النَّاسِ أَحْيَاءٌ. There are people who are going to die in the month of Muharram that is just a few days, not more than 3 away. قَدْ مَاتَ قَوْمٌ وَهُمْ فِي النَّاسِ أَحْيَاءٌ. There are people who are going to die before the next Ramadan, but they will remain with a positive contribution and hold great merit in the hearts of believers. Abu Bakr Siddiq radiyallahu anhu, one outstanding quality about him, he was a profound reciter of the Quran. And as we wind up this year, what is your plan about personal development in the Quran? One person said that wakana Abu Bakrin rajulan baka, that Abu Bakr was a man who invested his time in crying. La yamliku aynayhi idha qara al-Quran. He never had control about his emotions whenever he recited the Quran. Whenever he recited the Quran, he used to recite the Quran in his house. At that time, Ibn Daghina, one of the dwellers and leaders in Makkah, got a report that Abu Bakr recites Quran loudly. Inna nakhsha an yaftina nisa'ana wa abna'ana. Our fear is not for him, but his recitation of the Quran might become a source to lure our children and our wives in that religion of Islam. Abu Bakr was on the verge of being expelled out of Makkah. Ibn Daghina came to him and he said that I'm not a Muslim, but I stand with you. Abu Bakr, how is our society going to be without a man like you? How is the society going to be without a person like you? The Muslim community of Makerere, the Ugandan Muslim community, the Ethiopian Muslim community where you come from, that association back in your homestead, how is it going to be without a Muslim like you? Our contribution is very, very important. Ibn Daghina calls Abu Bakr and he said that I'm giving you amnesty. The report went back to him that Abu Bakr is becoming a problem to us. He does not control his tears while he recites the Quran. Ibn Daghina went to Abu Bakr and he told him that, you see, Abu Bakr, I had in the beginning given you some amnesty, but I think it's becoming too much. Abu Bakr stood for values of the Quran. He stood for values of truth at a time where Islam was challenged. My and your contribution at a time when Islam is being challenged. Where do we stand? What is our contribution? He said that, Inni aruddu ilayka jiwarak. I am returning back your amnesty. If you don't want to protect me, I prefer that I am more protected by Allah and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I cannot conceal the truth. How many things have you stood for in this year that required you to come out when that wedding was going on in your family household and it was the time to do prayer and you said that, yes, let's first pray? It's important. May Allah tabarak wa ta'ala reward one and all. Brothers and sisters in the fold of Islam, after the death of Abu Bakr, there was Umar ibn al-Khattab. Umar ibn al-Khattab is one of the people that were recognized by Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala in the 11th volume of Kanzul Umman. When Umar became a Muslim, Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala gave news in one of the times thereafter on Yawmul Arafah, when Muslims were converged way back after the conversion of Umar. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that Inna Allah baha bin nasi ammatan ashiyata Arafah. The eve of Arafah, Allah praised and recognized the Muslims that were present in the scorching sun. Wabaha bi Umar khaswa. Umar was given special recognition as a person. In one of the volumes, it is said that laqad istabshara ahlu sama'i bi islami Umar. When Umar embraced Islam, every person that existed, every angel that dwelled in the heavens was so happy about the conversion and the presence of Umar. My question is to myself, Naswif, my presence in the Ummah, is it adding a building block or it is reducing your presence within the Muslim community? And I want you to expand that from the lower to the highest of levels, bi'idhnillah. Umar ibn al-Khattab in Hayat Sahaba, there is one riwayah, because he was a very pious man. It comes and they told him that, Umar, tell us about yourself. How do you imagine after your death, when angels come down in the grave to question you and account for your life in Islam? Umar ibn al-Khattab was told that there are some angels that might come to you, that will surely come to you. One of them, aswatuhuma karra'ad, absaruhuma kalbarq. They gave description of these angels. They are carrying a big load. لَوْ اجْتَمَعَ عَلَيْهِ أَهْلُ مِنَا لَمْ يُطِيقُ رَفْعُهَا. If it is a stick and it is being carried, لَوْ اجْتَمَعَ عَلَيْهِ أَهْلُ مِنَا, if the people of the city of Mina attempted to carry it, they could not manage to carry it. How would you be in that situation in the grave? Umar ibn al-Khattab sobbed with tears. He sobbed with tears, trying to imagine such a situation. Nevertheless, brothers and sisters in the fold of Islam, that tradition was Sada Abdul Wahid fi kitabihi at-Tabsir. One of the other scholars added that Umar ibn al-Khattab will say, Allahu Rabbi fama rabbukuma, wal Islam dini fama dinukuma, wa Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam nabiyyi fama nabiyyukuma. Who is your prophet? My prophet is Muhammad. My religion is Islam. And what is your religion? Nevertheless, the contribution of Umar ibn al-Khattab to the Ummah was colossal. To the leaders, it's a question as we assess ourselves this year and coming next year. Like I said in the beginning that it's the end of the year, but al-amalu, the issue of contribution and acting and progressing within Islam is a continuous and communal responsibility to all of us. May Allah tabarak wa ta'ala reward us all abundantly. Umar ibn al-Khattab Even when he was a leader, he observed justice. A certain person came in the outskirts of Medina. He was trying to inquire, who is your leader? He asked that, who is your king? He thought it was a monarch. They told him that, ma indana malik, we actually do not have a monarch, and therefore we do not have kings attached to us. They said that indana amir, if you are to scrutinize our structure of leadership, we have what we call an amir. Huwa kharij al-Madina tahta shajara. He is in the outskirts of Medina, underneath one of the trees. They went and they found Omar lying down. One of the comments, finally, it was a long tradition, they said that, Hakamta, you have governed. You have also maintained justice in your governance. Fanimta, you even have the guts to sleep. Omar ibn al-Khattab was asked about the qualities of leaders. He said that Yambaghi, it is important that for a leader to be a person who is one, Jawadun. He said that another thing, he ought to be generous, but not someone who is extravagant. He said that the second aspect, Layyinun, he should be someone who is soft-hearted, who is considerate in his actions, but he is not weak. And he said that Mumsikun min ghairi bukhlin, he should be a person who withholds, but is not a person who is stingy. Omar ibn al-Khattab, great contribution to the religion of Islam. Brothers and sisters in the fold of Islam, the key question is that as we wind up this year, it is important to make audit in our lives. What is our personal contribution to ourselves? And then what is the contribution that we have to the Ummah at large? And what is the plan anyway? When people try to take stock every year, every time December goes on, they try to take stock of their accounts, they try to take stock of what they have done about their children, the contributions, the plans. What is your plan coming next week? Because it's going to be a new year. We are going to begin Muharram in full swing, bi'idhnillah. And what is the plan to contribute to your society? What are you adding onto your personal Islam, bi'idhni Rahman al-Mawla? When Umar ibn al-Khattab was very wise, towards the time of his death, shortly before he died, he came in front of the Sahaba in the mosque, Ridwanullahi alayhim, and he said that, Zufoni, Zufoni, get me married, get me married. People were surprised. An old man telling them to allow him marry and to give him someone to marry. They said that, who do you want us to give you into marriage? He said that, Bint Ali, I want to marry the daughter of Ali. Ali radiallahu anhu had a daughter who was called Kulthum. Look at the decisions that are strategic fi dunya wal akhirah. The decisions that we have made this year should be sieved within strategy, whether they benefit us fi dunya or even after. They asked him that, you want to marry the daughter to Ali? And obviously the gap between the daughter of Ali and Umar was big. And then he later on got married to the daughter of Ali. He gave her mahar worth 40,000 dirhams. And then he was asked the logic behind marrying the daughter to Ali. He said that, I was looking at my akhirah. And this is a smart reason for people to be considerate in the choice of partners. Nevertheless, it is going to come to you with a lot of havoc and evil if you do not consider it. He utilized a spiritual veil. He said that, قال المصطفى صلى الله عليه وسلم, I heard the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم say, ينقطع كل سبب ونسب إلا سببي ونسبي. That on the day of Qiyamah, every progeny, every lineage, every family structure is going to break up. يوم يفر المرء من أخيه وأمه وأبيه وصاحبته وبنيه. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that illa sababi wa nasabi, except things that were built on my bridge and my progeny. For that reason, I looked for a way to get into the prophetic family. That is why I made that marriage. What is your strategic reason for marriage of that woman that you have? What about that one you are proposing to? The veil and the sieve of taqwa should be present in our actions coming next year. There should be a spiritual reason that you attach to your financial course. There should be a spiritual reason. There should be a veil of istikhara in the decisions that you are going to make going forward as you progress in life, at business level, at family level, and friendship level. May Allah tabarak wa ta'ala reward one and all abundantly. May Allah tabarak wa ta'ala forgive us where we go wrong. Innahu huwal ghafurur rahim wa huwal barrul kareem.
Welcome to Tamais International Schools. Tamais Junior School in Uganda has opened another branch in Rwanda called Tamais International Academy, a day and boarding secondary school located in Musanze, offering a Cambridge International program. Located in a beautiful, cool environment founded on Islamic values, though it warmly welcomes all religions across the globe. Tamais International Academy aims at producing practical skilled learners with academic knowledge, morally understanding, and socially skilled who are ready to compete internationally. Join us at Tamais International Academy.
We make your child's dream a reality.
Alhamdulillah. وبه نستعين على أمور الدين والدنيا. أوصي نفسي وإياكم بتقوى الله تبارك وتعالى. وراكبوه مراقبة من يعلم أنه يسمع ويرى. وتزودوا من دنياكم لآخرتكم واعلموا أن خير الزاد التقوى. قال تعالى في محكم تنزيله بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. Praise be to Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. We are grateful to Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala that we have lived up to the 29th day of the month of Dhul Hajj in the year 1445. Brothers and sisters in the fold of Islam, it is the last khutbah this year. We are in the winding up stages of the year. Allah swears upon a generation. Wal asr, innal insana lafi khusr. Ibn Abbas adds some flesh to this ayah, and one of the accolades of Ibn Abbas is that ma min ayatil Quran illa wa ana a'lam min aina nazala wa aina kana Nabiy sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He gives flesh to that verse and he said that innal insana lafi nuqsan wal asr, I swear by upon a time, a generation, inna zamana wa ma abqalana ajabun, mankind is in loss. As we wind up this year, we are nearing towards our graves. We are surely moving towards our end of time. You are no longer 45 years. You are on the track of making 46 years, even when your birthday was the day before. You are on the track of making 23 years. You are translating from second year to third year. It is not only an academic progression, it is a progression that is leading you towards accountability on Yawmul Qiyamah. Even when you see it far-fetched, innahum yarawnahu ba'ida wa narahu qariba. Surely Allah gives us certainty that it is very close. But the key question in place, what is your contribution to Islam? What is your contribution to Islam? What is my contribution to Islam? What additional value have you got as a Muslim in this year? It is a few days away to the next year. What is your Islamic plan? And that is my concern and your concern that should be captured bi-idhnillah. Brothers and sisters in the fold of Islam, Omar ibn al-Khattab meets his death via a man called Abu Lu'lu al-Majus, who stabbed him. Nevertheless, the Muslim and the believer's vision is broad. When Omar fainted and he was taken out, later on when he regained before his death, he said that Hal Sallah, I remember at the time when I was being stabbed, it was time for prayer. Have the Muslims conducted prayer? It was important to him, even in that pain. After Umar ibn al-Khattab, Uthman ibn al-Affan was the next in the reigns of Islam. Al-Amalu, conducting practices, contributing to Islam is the responsibility of us all. Uthman has an accolade The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that law kunna ashra, even if they were 10, I would have given each and every of my daughter to Uthman radiyallahu anhu. Uthman, he was a great contributor. In one book, he is spoken about, whereby his statements are brought into record. Khaba'tu inda rabbi ashran. At least I haven't done too much, but surely 10 things are unique about Uthman. One of them, he said that I was the 4th person to accept Islam. I was the 4th person to accept Islam. Second, he is the only person who married 2 of the daughters of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, one after the other. Inni jahaztu jaysh al-usra. He solely contributed to Islam in one of the battles, and he gave in his finance, full-fledged, from all the materials to use and facilitation that is required. Hafiru bi'ra Ruma, a well that he put in place. Uthman ibn al-Affan, ma marrat bihi jum'atun. There wasn't any week except that he freed a slave. They are estimating for us that in the current date, the cost of freeing a slave is about 65 million Ugandan shillings, almost offering a new Harrier every week. That was his contribution, and so many other qualities. Important to say, the financial muscle of Uthman contributed to the Ummah. The financial muscle of Uthman was important to the Muslims, but also he did not forsake the religious values. وَلَقَدْ جَمَعْتُ الْقُرْآنَ عَلَىٰ أَهْدِ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ. He was amongst the Sahabas that memorized the Quran cover to cover during the reign of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So, brothers and sisters in the fold of Islam, after the death of Uthman radiyallahu anhu came Ali, subhanallah. We cannot expound a lot about the contributions of each and every Sahaba, but these people lived a rich legacy. They gained the accolade of radiyallahu anhum wa radu an. They were pleased by what Allah had promised them. Allah surely gave them whatever they worked for, and Allah is surely going to reward us abundantly bi-idhnillah. Ali radiyallahu anhu, just to pick on one thing, Ali radiyallahu anhu is a person who was once in the masjid, and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned that la u'tiyanna ar-rayata ghadan. Tomorrow I'm going to give out the flag of the Muslims. Just imagine, it is not an exact and it is not a relatively comparable comparison. When a president says that tomorrow I'm going to mention a delegate to represent me, to represent Uganda, like I'm saying they two do not match, but just to bring it closer, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned that I'm going to give the flag for the Muslims tomorrow as we go out in battle. To a person, yuhibbullah, that person loves Allah and his prophet, and the reverse is true. Allah loves that person and his prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Omar ibn al-Khattab was present in the masjid, who also has a great legacy, but he said that ma tamanaytul imara qat illa dhaka yawm. I have never aspired, I have never admired, it has never compelled me to wish to be a leader like I was in that day. I wished it was me. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was giving reference and honor to Ali ibn Abi Talib, whose contribution was also very memorable. It is said that Ali and Fatima, in the highlights of Jannah, we shall see 2 stars in the skies, and we shall be there. Sayyida Shababi Ahlil Jannah, Ali, the leader of the youths in Jannah. Ali radiallahu anhu, in one of his profound statements, he said that ni'matani, there are 2 virtues, law bakati dima alayya aynaya, if I was to cry profusely, hatta tadhhaba, up to when my eyes could actually go blind. There too, he said that one of them, faqdu shabab, it is the disappearance of my youth, wa furqatul ahbabi, and distancing but also leaving my friends after my demise. Brothers and sisters in the fold of Islam, those were people who had contribution and legacy. After them passing on, surely the Ummah stands a task of the fitnas that began after the caliphs had passed on. It came in procession. Khairul quruni qaruni. The challenges that they made were exceptional and great. Thumma, and thereafter there are people that came into the Ummah. And thereafter there are people who came after. Today we are the present Muslims. We are the people to lay a profound foundation. Therefore, our values should be inclined towards supporting Islam, towards contributing to Islam. As we wind up this year, the affairs of the Muslims are not issues that we should leave for other people. There are so many values that are entrenched within the legal fraternity that the Muslim lawyers have to make clarity about, that have to table. There are so many issues that are embedded within finance that people who have studied economics and understand the relationship between Islam and the implication of financial policies should give a spiritual touch and actually inform our ummah and highlight, because it's your contribution. There are so many virtues that we need to come out with, that we need to contribute at personal level, at family level. It's a communal responsibility to add a building block. Nevertheless, if you cannot add a building block to Islam, do not be a person who is going to be a source of the fall of Islam. Do not be a person who is going to be financed to become a problem to Islam and the religion of Islam. If you cannot make a positive contribution, at least let's not deal with your negativity. If you cannot add onto the wealth that the Muslims have, do not reduce on their wealth. If you cannot add onto the peace that the Muslims have, do not contribute to the distortion of their harmony. We need to pray for the Ummah. As we wind up this year, we need concerted efforts to see how we merge our synergies and work in unity, even when we are at a time whereby those values of unity, humanity, sanity are being challenged by all forces that are religious, that are political, that are environmental, that are academic, and so many other ways you might wish to analyze it. We need to stand for the ummah. Ibadullah, laqad amarana Allah tabarak wa ta'ala an nusalli ala rasulihil karim حيث قال إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد وبارك اللهم على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد وارض اللهم عن الخلفاء الراشدين منهم أبو بكر وعمر وعثمان وعلي وعن بقية صحابة أجمعين اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين وأذل الشرك والكفر والمشركين ودمر أعداءك وأعداءنا وأعداء الدين اللهم اغفر للمسلمين والمسلمات والمؤمنين والمؤمنات الأحياء منهم والأموات ربنا لا تعذبنا بما فعلنا ولا بما فعل السفهاء منا ولا بما فعل المبتلون اللهم اغفر للمسلمين والمسلمات والمؤمنين والمؤمنات الأحياء منهم والأموات ربنا لا تعذبنا بما فعلنا ولا بما فعل السفهاء منا ولا بما فعل المبتلون قد دعوناك ربنا كما أمرتنا اللهم تقبل منا ربنا كما وعدتنا اللهم انصر إخواننا المستضعفين في كل مكان اللهم كن معهم ولا تكن عليهم اللهم أيدهم بتأييدك برحمتك يا عزيز يا غفار قد دعوناك ربنا كما أمرتنا اللهم تقبل منا ربنا كما وعدتنا إنك لا تخلف الميعاد عباد الله إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وأمرنا بالصلاة فاقم الصلاة إن الصلاة كانت على المؤمنين كتابا موقوتا.
Welcome to Tamais International Schools. Tamais Junior School in Uganda has opened another branch in Rwanda called Tamais International Academy, a day and boarding secondary school located in Musanze, offering a Cambridge International program. Located in a beautiful, cool environment founded on Islamic values, though it warmly welcomes all religions across the globe. Tamais International Academy aims at producing practical skilled learners with academic knowledge, morally understanding, and socially skilled who are ready to compete internationally. Join us at Tamais International Academy.
We make your child's dream a reality.